Good evening and welcome back, viewers, to Diaspora News. I'm your host, DJ, and let's dive right in to the stories that are rocking the diaspora this week. First up, Tariq Nasheed laughs off the ADOS conference. Then we'll talk about Kenya's crackdown on immigration. And last but not least, we'll have a word about the looming trial for Thomas Sankara in Burkina Faso. Let's get to it. We all know that the ADOS and the FBA community has been locked in a battle for the hearts and minds of Black Americans who are looking for a new identity to call our own. Well, it looks like FBA may finally be in the lead for the minds and hearts of Black Americans. Most recently, on October 9th, Yvette Carnell and co. held the ADOS conference. Now, she initiated this conference some years ago, and traditionally it has been successful. It has seen good numbers, but this year was very different. And her arch nemesis, Tariq Nasheed, did not miss an opportunity to call this out. Tariq Nasheed took to Twitter with a very sarcastic comment saying, "This year's ADOS conference turnout was a little less than stellar." His sarcasm was not lost on the people, and comments began to pour in about how attendance was so low and why that might be the case. Now, from my perspective, looking at the pictures from the conference, it did seem to be a lack of people there. We all know what's going on in the world right now, so that could definitely be a factor. But in addition to that, I will say that I do believe the ADOS brand has taken a major hit in the last year. But at the conference, the optics weren't good. Not only did you have it in a church, therefore people that aren't religious or don't want their political identity tied to religion may not feel comfortable being in that setting. If they want to go to a convention, they want to go to a convention center. But in addition to that, you had non-ADOS presenters. And by non-ADOS, I mean these weren't even folks of color. And that too was not lost on the general public. Now, of course, ADOS is free to have whoever they want speaking at the conference, but I must say it definitely gives credence to the critics of ADOS who position ADOS as an organization that seeks to ally with the main political parties and the main dominant ruling caste than it does to forward the agenda of Black people. No response from Yvette yet on this, but I'm sure we'll hear something soon. Now, let's turn our attention to Kenya. For many years, we've known the beauty of the East African country, but apparently it's become very appealing to foreigners as well. In fact, so much so that there has been a mass influx of Asian nationals in and around Nairobi that has caused major concern for Kenyans themselves. Conspiracy theories were floating on Twitter about whether the Pakistani nationals were being brought in to replace Kenyans, and concerns about the spread during the pandemic also raised a red flag. The Kenyan government has responded to the outrage by restricting the ability for Pakistani nationals and foreigners in general to move freely through Kenya. And in more somber news, Burkina Faso, the West African country known as the land of upright people, is now coming face to face with one of its most difficult chapters. 14 people will stand trial for the killing of Thomas Sankara 34 years ago. Now, he was killed in a coup, and it's said that it was plotted by those closest to him. Why is this so important? Why now? Well, his widow summed it up beautifully, and she's quoted as follows. "It is a moment we have been waiting for," Sankara's widow, Mariam Sankara, told journalists as she arrived at the hearing. "This trial is needed so that the culture of impunity and violence that still rages in many African countries, despite the democratic facade, stops indefinitely." The military tribunal opened the proceedings, then adjourned the hearing until October 25th after defense lawyers asked for more time to prepare their case, court officials said. But it's even deeper than that. Having these 14 people stand trial after 34 years shows that in the diaspora, justice must be delivered, no matter how long it takes, no matter how long it's been. We'll keep an eye on it. Thank you so much for tuning into Diaspora News. We'll see you the next time.